Callie, and I'm from Curls and Company in Chicago. And today we're going to be discussing the Diffuser. If you've ever seen it with the hand here, it is not a risque toy. It actually is good for hair. That's what it's for. It's a new diffuser, but it does take some getting used to. So that's what we're going to go over today, is how to use it. People with fine hair, I recommend using some clips when you use it, just as you're letting it dry. And people with thicker hair, you can just allow the hand to kind of manipulate the hair. But we're going to go over that a little more in just a minute. Hi, I'm Callie at Curls and Company, and today we're running over how to use the Diffuser. But we're also going to run over how to apply the products so they work well when you use them with the Diffuser. The most important thing to do when you're going to start using the Diffuser is to have your hair be very wet and then apply the gel. Now what you're going to do is your hair should be wet. You should just have gotten out of the shower, and it's going to be as wet as you can handle it. Then you take about 3 pumps of gel if your hair is my length, maybe a little more gel if your hair is longer. Flip the hair over, apply the gel all over the hair. Really the ends of the hair is what you're going to be focusing on. Then you comb it through with your fingers. You should never use a regular comb. Your fingers are good enough because your fingers are nice and soft and they drag through the hair and they'll detangle you really well. When you put that gel in, you'll know you have enough gel if you see pretty coils start to form. If you're still seeing a lot of frizz, add a little bit more gel. And also make sure that your hair is really wet when you're putting in this gel. If your hair is too dry when you put in the gel, you'll feel it drag and it won't feel good, and that's how you know the hair's not wet enough. So when you're still tipped over and you've applied the gel, you've combed it through, kind of smooth it over the hair, and then you want to squeeze it with the old t-shirt. Or if you have one of those ShamWow, chamois towels, those will be fine too, and squeeze out the excess. Now another step that I do, that's not really Diffuser approved, but you can either add more gel after you've done this and you're upright, if you still see a little bit of frizz, or take a little bit of curl keeper, and drag it over the top. Take that little bit of Archangel, Angel, or curl keeper, rub it in your hands, just a little bit this time, and drag it over one more time for good measure and squeeze it. Drag it over the top really fast and squeeze it. Then, when you're done doing all that, now you're ready to diffuse. If you need to, if you're still dripping a lot, then get that t-shirt, squeeze out that excess water. Just make sure when you're squeezing out the excess water that you're not trying to dry your hair. You're literally just squeezing it so it's not going to drip all over the place. Now, when you get the diffuser, it should be on. Put it on medium or high. If it's going to be on high, just make sure you don't have it like super close to your scalp so you're burning your scalp. Now, what I do is I flip my hair over and I will put the little hand like this, because for me, I want lift at my scalp. My hair will usually look like a teepee. If I just let it dry naturally, there'll be no lift. So I kind of like lay it here, and I'll let it for about 2 minutes. Then, what I do again is I take that hand for about 2 minutes here. And if you need to, pull it up just a little bit so you're not burning your scalp. This hair will all be like flipped over because you're going to be really wet still. Then, take the hand again, if you want, just sort of put it back this way, just so the hair is laying down nicely. And that's if you want lift at the root. If you don't want any lift at the root, if you're worried you're going to get those bunches of hair at the bottom, like your hair poofs at the bottom, then take this bad boy and stick it right here and put it against your face. Like, just think of when you're letting your hair grow out, the bottom gets too big, and you're not ready to go in for your haircut yet. That's when you want to kind of push this here. So now you've gotten it relatively dry, but you still need more lift, maybe back here. This is usually a trouble spot for most people. Again, flip it forward and stick the hand just like that for about 2 minutes. And do it on each side for about 2 minutes. Now again, when you're doing all of this diffusing, you shouldn't be ruffling your hair around. The most important thing, if you remember nothing from this video but this, try to get your hair as dry as possible with this before you start squeezing it. The more you touch it when it's wet, the frizzier it will get. And I'm not kidding you. So it's like, really try to touch it very little when it's clammy or it's still wet. Once it feels pretty dry, then you can squeeze to your heart's content and get a nice lift. Now if you find in the front, this is always getting flat, which may be the case, your hair's still going to be wet, and take it and stick it right in front. And do that for 2 minutes. Whenever you have a situation of where, okay, like you diffuse it, and the shape suddenly doesn't look that great, and you're like, no, I don't like this. Just remember, this is your styling tool. If it got too big here, put it over the top. If it's not big enough yet, stick it underneath. If you need more lift in front, just pretend like it's your hand going in. Stick it right there. The thing is not to overdo it, like 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes. And then see how it looks. Anywhere else, just keep it kind of calm while you're letting it dry. And like I said, then sort of squeeze into shape. And if you've gotten a dry cut, most of those curls will spring up. Now, if you're, like I said, if you're letting it grow out a little bit, you may need to coax a little more. So just extend. The more lift you want, the further you kind of want to push this hand. If you really need extra lift, get in there and push it farther over. So that should help a lot. Then, for the people who bought the Diffuser extension, it's kind of awkward. You're going to put it on your dryer. This is the kind of dryer you want to have if you buy this. Because if it's too big a nozzle here, it'll pop off. And you got to kind of jam it in there a little bit. Watch out, don't buy a chi dryer or a dryer that has like a little plastic lip on it, because these will get stuck and you'll end up breaking your diffuser. So it just needs to be a regular dryer with a smooth, kind of small, gun barrel. And then just put it right on there. And then, when you're using this, the best way to use it, again, because it's kind of awkward, look how long, you've got like, this crazy arm. Just kind of, it may pop off, but just put it back on. Just sort of stick it under there, stick it under there, stick it under there. So when you flip over, again, if you buy their dryer and their little hand that goes on it, it is easier. But honestly, you just got to get used to using this. Once you're used to it, it's no big deal. So that's kind of the story for this Diffuser. Just remember, once your hair is very dry, it should be about 90% dry. If you're prone to frizz, don't dry it 100%. Dry it only about 90%. Let it dry the rest of the way on its own, and then squeeze it when it's dry. So, a lot of people who are prone to frizz, who have wiry hair, their hair can get fuzzy. You don't want to dry it all the way. Let it dry the rest of the way by itself. Again, don't overthink it. If you're used to using clips in your hair, which you may have been doing, put the clips in before you diffuse it. It can only kind of help the situation. Like this morning, I really needed to get some big lift. This was really flat on the top. So I put those clips in way high before I diffused it. And that really does help. And, excuse the adjustment there, but that'll really help a lot. So with that information, we're going to try it on a model today, and then we'll see how it goes. All right, hopefully that helps you. Thanks so much. If you have any question, Callie's Curls, or just call Deva and I'm sure they'll help you.